Hello everybody, my name is Tide, and today I'm going to be talking about Stellaris. If I was to have to explain Stellaris to someone that's never played or heard of Stellaris, I would say it is a mix between Civ and EVE Online. Now that being said, it's nothing like Civ or EVE Online. Well, it has bits and pieces here and there, but fundamentally, it's a completely different game. The main goal of Stellaris is to own everything, basically. I mean, you can have peace, but at the end of the day, usually it's dominance that wins the game. And that's where it kind of comes in on the Civ side. You conquer areas with, or you conquer little solar systems with planets and stars and resources. And that's how you continue furthering your empire or civilization, however you want to define it. Now the biggest issue with me doing this right now is that literally in 2 weeks they're going to be coming out with Megacorp, Hive Worlds, and some other things that'll be pretty interesting in the universe, like slave markets, which I think would be pretty cool. New voice and music, that's also pretty cool with the one of the DLCs, I think, and a couple other, or quite a few. This is like a semi-big update, which I'm kind of pretty excited for. There's a lot of patch notes with the UI and the modding and bug fixes and a whole bunch of other stuff. And given it that this game came out back in 2016 and it's almost 3 years in, which a game kind of like Civ, where they kind of stopped production on it due to it being finished and coming out with a new game, it doesn't look like Stellaris will be coming out with a new game in 2-3 years. It looks like they're going to hold on strong to this title, or this, I don't want to call it a series, but this game individually. It seems like they're putting a lot of effort into it, which is very good given it's been sitting for a little while. But we're not here to talk about the patch notes and all that mumbo jumbo. We're here to talk about the game and how it is and everything, and whatchamacallit. Now to run this game, you will need Windows 7, a AMD FX 8350, 4 gigs of RAM, a GTX 460, and 10 gigs of RAM, or 10 gigs of memory, which these specs are pretty low for giving it what it is. I've seen some people, or some pretty large battles, kind of lag out sometimes, but for basic minimum, I think that's pretty good. But then again, given games like City Skyline or Civ, they require pretty low graphics too, so that's on par. Now, first topic, UI. The UI is okay. There is a huge, well, I say huge, I had a little bit difficulty playing, but there is this learning curve that you have to learn before you actually start getting good at the game in general. Luckily, I had someone that knew exactly what they were doing and were able to teach me. So other than that, the UI, once you handle, you get pretty good at it, and it becomes more fluent as you play, so practice makes perfect. The gameplay is pretty good when it comes to combat, or kind of like micromanaging and sending out your scientists to learn different things, or to explore basically, and there's different sizes of universes that you can go into. I decided to play most of mine on the tiny universes, but I did play a couple large, which does a lot of exploring and a lot of comprehension of the game. Something I did like while playing was when you send out your explorers, or I like to call them scientists, when you send them out, they'll find these little anomalies and whatnot, and you can research them or examine them, or I don't remember the exact word that they gave, but you'll find little things like, oh, we might not be alone, there's organisms here and there could be organisms other places, or you could find like rifts or wormholes that are scattered out through the universe. The combat was interesting, I guess. It reminded me kind of like EVE, yes and no. I mean, it varied. I had some difficulties at the beginning. This is some really early footage, but I had some difficulties at the beginning, but 4, 5, 6 hours in, I had it nailed down and I was pushing huge ass fleets around. So the combat, I approved of that. I feel like the gameplay itself is reasonably paced. At the beginning it's a little slow, and towards the end it goes way too fast, so I found myself pausing a lot because I'm not like a pro at the game, so I had to slow down and reevaluate everything that was going on. But even though the game is paced, this is a long game. I mean, I wouldn't say it's as long as Eve, or not Eve. Eve is an online game. I wouldn't say it's long as Civilization, but it most definitely can get that long. I could see easily spending 7, 8, 9 hours in one game compared to like any other game other than like Civ or City Skylines. But it is a relatively fun game. Like, you don't go spend 12 hours playing Civ in one session and say, oh, that was a pretty shitty game. And this, I feel like this is the same way. It gives me a weird satisfaction while not completely obliterating or massacring a whole nother civilization, even though we all like to do that. But it gives you a weird satisfactory feeling when you wipe a civilization from the universe. As fucked up as that sounds. If I was to smack this game with a 1 out of 100, I would say a solid 82. And I almost forgot, this has huge amount of customization for your civilizations, which is another thing that I really liked, or your empire, I guess technically, that you can literally change your race, you can change your ethics basically, you can be a warmongering civilization, or you can be a complete pacifist, you can be fucking Gandhi if you wanted to, honestly. But that does affect how things go. If you're a complete pacifist, you can't fucking go or become a warmonger and start wrecking everyone. It's just not how it works. You'd have to change your political views, or I don't remember exactly what it was called, but you can adjust your civilization, but it does cost. I would say if you like space and you like Civ, this is a game that you have to try, in my opinion. I just don't know how to express the feeling. It reminds me of the first time I played, or not the first time, but it reminds me of back in the day when we were sitting in my house having LAN parties playing Civ. And that's not a lot of that's not something a lot of games can touch nowadays, given it Black Ops and COD, and I guess Civ 5 was the last fun Civ game that I played. But this, I'm probably going to dump a couple 100 hours into this easily. Let me know what you guys think about Stellaris down in the comments section. If you guys want to watch me play this or have any questions, go ahead and drop that down there too. If this video helped you guys, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you guys want to see more, subscribe.